to what I actually wanted to talk about. So now I'm gonna get into a story or an experience I had whenever I was out of town. This is also before I started streaming, I think, right? I think, I think, because this is whenever I went to Tennessee. I live on the East Coast, and I went to Tennessee because you know what I'm saying I was trying to do something with my life, trying to change it up, trying to do something for the better, for my family, and I did something I really wasn't used to. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't say like it was necessarily good or bad, but it was an interesting experience nonetheless because it taught me one the value of skill, oh hold up, where's this at? It taught me a lot. I could say that. There we go. It taught me a lot of things about life that you know what I'm saying I don't really think I got before. It's really only because one, I never really been in an environment like that either in a long time or ever, and two, it was a lot of people kind of put into the same situation as me. I realized, it wasn't really it was a choice, but it was just a matter of circumstance why we all ended up in a similar place like that. But it was ultimately for my betterment. It was supposed to help me get a trade, and I did this. I did this. Oh, I thought I could do that. All right, but I did this, yeah, strictly for my family, just to try to better my life, turn it around type shit. So I was trying to get a trade. I ended up going to this place called Job Corps. Don't sue me, because I'm only giving an honest opinion. I'm only giving my honest experience. Um, they temporarily shut it down after I left, which is, I'm not gonna say ironic or funny. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they did it, but I did have a feeling that it would just be, at least that particular campus that I left would just kind of get a lot worse, just because the people there were kind of weird. I hate putting it off on other people, because other people try to bring me back down to earth by saying it's maybe not everyone else. Sometimes it's you. Never argue that. Never argue points like that, because I'm always, at least I try to be self-aware, dude. I try to be self-aware. I should say that, but I am self-aware, because that's what I say. That's how I maintain that awareness, by saying that I am. But I can't help but to deny. Fuck. I can't help but recognize. There we go. I'm not going to deny when other people are acting odd. You know what I'm saying? And it really started before I even left home. Um, I was getting some weird vibes that I probably shouldn't even do this, but like I said, I wanted to do it for my family. I was ignoring all that just because I didn't really have a choice to ignore that. I didn't really have the option, really. That's really what it felt like. Even though I didn't really feel good about it, I didn't have a choice, because this is what I'm talking about, right? Like there was like a pre-screen interview or something like that. It was like a group call with some of the administration that's there at the campus already, and then they were talking to some people who were getting ready to go there to a place like that, right? So it was me, some other people who were going, and there was, like I said, the administration. So I was like, all right, bet, we're gonna do it. Cool. We get to talk to them, get a feel, get a vibe before we go. Awesome. All right, they're trying to make us feel a little comfortable, so I appreciated that. But it was weird, right? Because Jesus, that annoys me. My voice does that, but it was weird whenever got on the call, right? It was, I think it was a black lady. The quality of the connection was really bad, but I think it was a black lady who was hosting the call, letting us know who she was, letting us get a feel, ask some questions, letting us know what we can't do, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And this thing is tilted over. Never seen that. I thought this was a spaceship. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, letting us get a feel. Oh, I get it though. It washed up. It tilted over. I get it. I get it. But yeah. Oh, ain't no chest? Alright, I'm out. Ahoy. And then you got a black screen on my screen for nothing. I ain't even go in there. But yeah. This was how should I say, like, cool. It was cool. It was supposed to be just simple. And this music is loud. Oh my gosh, but it was supposed to be a simple call, just letting us know, like I said, what to expect. We get to get an allowance while we're there, so we're not just sitting there broke or hungry. There's gyms, there was a studio, telling us everything, you know what I'm saying? Just making us kind of more, I guess, excited, not as stressed as going to a whole new environment, because we were going to be living on the campus. It was like a boarding school almost, right? So they were letting us know if we had any questions, go ahead and ask him there. You know, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing because it was kind of just like, you know, one of those. But it was like I didn't really have much to say. I didn't have much to say at all because I was just listening. Everybody else asking their questions. Some dude asked, could he bring his own blanket? You know what I'm saying? It was just the way he asked it. It was like, damn, everything they talk about, you worried about it, you could bring your blankie, but they're straight. You know what I mean? They were doing their thing. I was just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Listening, observing, and then I did end up having a question, right? Because she said something. Forgot what she said exactly, but I just remember this, that whenever I was trying to get this lady's attention, like everyone else could, right? Everyone else. I think that she was even asking us too whenever we joined the call if she could hear us, and she just couldn't hear me for some reason, right? But the other people could, so it didn't make sense how the other people, the students particularly, what I'm talking about, they could hear me, but she couldn't, because there was a couple times I'm trying to get her attention. I'm like, hey, I have a question about this. And she's like, any questions, anybody? Any questions? Yeah, yes, ma'am. I have, yep, any questions? Is cutting me off. But she could hear everybody else. Everyone else could hear me. And even someone spoke up. They're like, yeah, I think he has. And she cut him off too. Just for my question not to get answered. It was weird. I'm like, all right, bet. So they can hear me, but she can't for some reason. But it's all good though. It's all good in the hood. I charted that off as maybe technical difficulties, but it got worse. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I got to the campus, my experiences, I'm not gonna say it got worse dramatically, but it did get worse. What's good, Blue Go? You know what I'm saying? What's good, Blue Go? I just mentioned you in the story earlier. I'm not gonna lie. It was good, man. What was I saying? Yeah, bro. So my experiences here, I'm not gonna say they got significantly worse, but they gradually made me more inclined to be uncomfortable in this environment. Let me tell you why. So, boom. I get there first day. I remember that getting acquainted with everybody. Right, there were some people I didn't know, obviously. Everyone I didn't know there, but I could tell that these were kids who were kind of just like doing this as a last resort, almost like me. It seemed like they didn't really have any motivation to be there, any care to be there. Like they didn't really want to, and so they were just kind of like acting like they were in school. You know what I'm saying? Like they were just kind of like they're just having fun. I'm quiet. I'm to myself because I clearly didn't want to be there, but everyone else is kind of just making the best of it, which is cool. It's fine because I don't fault that. I don't even try to, you know what I'm saying? I don't try to ridicule that. What was the story? I think I was telling I briefly mentioned you whenever I was talking about my stream last night. I had brought you up about how me and you were talking in one of these type streams. And then the other dude found me in my Spider-Man stream, something like that. It was a quick mention, but I did say your name though, so it's crazy you popped up. But yeah, it wasn't anything crazy though. But yeah, man. What was I saying though? So yeah, so look, Pete, we're getting acquainted with everybody though. Getting to feel the vibe. I'm like, all right, so these are clearly a group of younger kids, a younger generation this year that is they're having a good time. They're enjoying themselves. So I can't even hate on that. I'm just glad they're not bringing any negative energy yet that I have to deal with. But yeah, like I said, my experiences there were just kind of like I'm gonna get to the point of it right now. So let me see if I could turn this music down too. I feel like I'm yelling over it, but boom. I'm gonna say probably the first couple of weeks. I noticed that these type of people here, like these are the type of people, I'm not even gonna say specifically black, because there are some black and white people who do this thing where they insult you, but they do it in the form of a joke, right? I no longer do that stuff. I used to do that with my homies and stuff like that. I used to like kind of like joke like, oh, you ugly as fuck, oh damn, like you skinny, oh you weak, you know what I'm saying? I used to do stuff like that, but I don't joke like that anymore because it's hard to understand where that line crosses when someone is being serious and when they're not, because they can always say something very personal and then just throw on, I'm just joking, bruh. And it's like, no, you're not. I can tell, but it's good though. It's good because you don't want to be that type of person, right? But these are the type of people that they were. These are the type of people that these people are. They do that type of stuff. And Hold up. You said I just want to make sure you're not alone on stream. I appreciate it. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I just do this for the clips later, but I do appreciate that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Last night's stream was probably the most packed I had. There was so many people coming in and out, but I think I don't know, maybe the topic or something like that. People were like kind of leaving because I feel like when I talk about stuff that's too deep, people leave. But I appreciate that though, bro. Shout out to Blue Go. But yeah, man. And I can't turn the music down. But anyways, these type of people at Job Corp, the people I was around, you really got no choice. Like I said, these are the type of people who I feel like were here as a last resort. Maybe they decided to go here. I know some people who were there. They were talking about it. They went there to receive multiple trades, which I salute, because I just want to get out. I wanted to get the trade that was the easiest to get, so I could get out of there as fast as I could. And I ended up falling into like the firefighter, like where the firefighters were. I was gonna be like a hot shot, what they call it, where they like go to active fires and like put them out. And I think that's what one of my classmates did right out of high school. I think his name was George. Shout out to him. But I was like, damn, they make money while they're here, and I could also get my trade up for that as well. So I was like, whatever, I'll do that. And that's what I was doing while I was there. But it was really just the environment. It wasn't even doing the yeah. I was about to take it back, but no, I'm gonna keep going because it was really just the environment that made it undesirable, that made it more difficult to really stay there for a prolonged amount of time. Because I even the way one of my instructors were talking to me, dog, is just like, man, it's like, who you talking to, bro? Like, bro, I'm not like that. I'm not one of them ones you could just talk to any kind of way and I'm just gonna sit there like, yes sir. No, you gotta talk to me with some respect, and I'll talk to you with respect. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm gonna just keep it. I'm gonna keep it linear first. I'm gonna keep it just so I don't jump topics. You know what I'm saying? But you said, yeah, I feel I need to change that. I also make fun of their friends as a joke. They stopped though, and instead of making fun of them, I started complimenting them. See, all right, bam. I'm glad you said that too. Before I go any further, that's a good active change of that energy, because it's really hard to tell, like I said, whenever someone is doing that to me, and I don't want someone to feel that way when I'm doing that to them, because I used to do that so much. And I'm like, if I don't want to feel that way, I shouldn't make anyone else feel that way. So I just actively started changing, and I didn't really like the way my friends kept doing that, so I drifted away from them. That's a whole nother story. But shout out to you though, because that's a responsible way to go about that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, it was just like these type of people did that though. Who I was around whenever I was doing Job Corp, these type of people joke like that. They're friends and all that. They love to like I said, clown each other. But then whenever it comes to like, you know, getting personal, they'll do that. But then they'll throw on, it was just a joke. And I remember what did this dude say, bro? What did he say to me? I forgot what he said to me. I remember his name though, or his nickname. He called himself Uzi, but he did not look like Uzi. He looked like, you know what I'm saying, Lord Farquaad with the blonde hair, you know what I'm saying? But he was taller than me though. He looked like something else. I'm not gonna lie, I disrespected him right there. But it's just like, he said something to me. I was drinking water. I think he said, "Sam, shut your bitch ass up." And all I said is while I was drinking the water, because I couldn't respond. But it's like, why would you say that to me? Like, and what should I say in response to that? You know what I'm saying? That's the type of person I am now. It's like, you say something disrespectful, like, what, you want me to retaliate with that? And then if I do, now there's an issue. Now there's a brewing issue in the air, because you're joking with me in a type of way that I don't even like. You know what I'm saying? And they do that to the point where it's like it borders getting personal, but it's supposed to be funny though. You know, you're not supposed to take it personal, but they'll say some personal shit to you. It's like, bro, why would you say that? But to get even more in depth, bro, some of these people were weird. Like, just besides the way that they were joking with me, but just the way they act. I forgot this one dude. He looked Mexican, I'm not gonna lie. I remember he had a mustache or whatever like that. He was probably my height, maybe a little bit shorter. We were doing this thing. We had to collect like soda tabs for this contest, because you couldn't leave the campus. So once you were on the campus, you were pretty much stuck there until you had the permission. And if you maintain the permission to leave campus, they would be able to drive you, but you have to be taken by somebody, right? So we were doing this contest. They're like, yep, whichever room has the most bottle can tabs, you win. You could choose where you want to go, downtown Tennessee, whatever. And I wasn't even in a rush to do that because where we were in Tennessee, there was some racist people over there, so I was not in a rush to go among them. But that was what the contest was, to be able to go downtown, to do what you want, have a pizza party, whatever. It was like one of those contests. So it was like, all right, bet. You know, we was doing that. We was a part of it. We was you know, we was doing it. We was a part of it. And that one dude I just mentioned, the Mexican looking dude, right? During the contest, he was going like from room to room, just talking to people, quote unquote, just talking to people, right? Just doing innocent things, right? Innocent, supposedly. Yeah, just talking to people. But I could tell, I could tell the way he was maneuvering through our room, because you stay in one big room with multiple different people. You said you think people need to stop rage baiting too. Also, yes, I agree with that. But I'm gonna continue to while I'm in this train of thought. That's true. Yeah, people need to stop rage baiting. It's messed up. And because they get offended whenever you go like all out or you snap. But that's just like, you never know what someone's limits are, you know, or what their boundaries are when it comes to joking around and stuff. But yeah, what was I gonna say though? Like, okay, so the way he was moving around our room though, it looked like he was looking for something, but at the speed he was moving and what he was looking at and where he was, you know what I'm saying? I could just tell. I'm just gonna chalk it up. Long story short, I could tell he wasn't just in there to talk to us, because it looked like he was looking for something, and he found where we had put our bottle tabs, right? And it's funny because after he had left our room, I'd even said that I feel like after he left our room, our entire bag of bottle cans disappeared. And like I said, I could not care less, because I was not in a rush to go out among people who don't like the way my skin looks. But it was the fact that he couldn't respect that I peeped that, and I didn't appreciate it, because it was the same dude, right, who did that, who whenever he saw me in like the little lounging area. So there's like a lounging area outside of all the rooms that we share with other people, and then you could go outside the lounging area, like outside, and you could walk around if that's not enough. But yeah, it was so, bro, there was so many people there, and I like to have my privacy, my alone time, my quiet. I sometimes I went in the lounging area, sometimes I would sit outside. But I remember he saw me eating snacks, because I was buying a lot of snacks. I kept going up to the other dorm, because that's where all the mail went. And I kept going to the other dorm, and I'd bring back like boxes of snacks sometimes. And I brought a few out to the lounging area. I was eating them. I was doing my thing. I was chilling. And after our bottle cap disappeared, after he was in our room, and I had asked a couple questions. I was asking around, like, damn, like who would have went around and stole our shit? You know what I'm saying? And no one really told me outright, but the way someone gave me a hint, I had a feeling I knew who it was. So this same dude who I suspected of taking our stuff asked me for a piece of my snack, like for some Skittles or something. He asked me for some Skittles, and I was like, this is simply what I said. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you're the one who stole our bottle caps, bro, and I don't respect that. I'm not gonna give you anything of mine if you feel that you could just do something like that, you know? I said something along those lines. I was not disrespectful at all. And matter of fact, I was as respectful as I could be. And as soon as I got, ooh, diamond. And as soon as I got done saying that, you know what he did? Do you know what he did, bro? He sits there and goes quiet and looks at me like this. He's just staring at me like this, like he's intimidating me. I'm like, bro, I'm not here to fight. I'm here to get a trade. I'm not here to fight over Skittles. Because the way he was looking at me, it looked like he wanted to do something to me. Like it was a kind of stare that was, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it doesn't really matter how anybody's staring at me. I don't like people staring at me, because that's how, literally, that's the body language of animals as well. Whenever you look an animal in their eye, they'll take that as like a threat, you know? They'll take that as you're trying to be aggressive. And just how I am as a person, if you're just staring at me with a dead face stare, that makes me feel like you want to fight me. And that's exactly how he was looking at me. He's just looking at me like he didn't like my answer. I'm just looking out in the distance. I don't really care to stare at him back, you know what I'm saying? To do a stare off over some Skittles. I'm just looking at the TV watching him play, but I could see him in my peripheral vision just staring me down because I declined his request to take my snacks. I'm like, dog, if you want to steal bottle caps, you ain't taking my snack. It's one or the other, fuck boy. Because that's how I felt at that time. And at that moment, I felt like he thought we were soft enough for him to do some bullcrap like that. You got to go eat dinner. Let me back. Don't give up, bro. I appreciate it. Enjoy dinner, dog. Enjoy dinner. Let me know how it go. Let me turn off this light too. And it's thundering. Wow, as I said that. And I'm going to turn off this air too.